We are being recorded.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Monday, March 22nd, 2021 annual meeting of the Easton Library Trustees. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, our meeting is being held virtually in accordance with the governor's open meeting policy. Unfortunately, our usual routine for our annual meeting can't be done. We usually enjoy either entertainment, a book reading, or potluck, and I really hope next year we'll be able to return to that format for our meeting. So today our meeting will basically just revolve around the annual meeting business portion of the meeting that we need to conduct in order to have an official annual meeting. And I'm going to ask Jennifer to, well, I think I'll just call some roll, and if you're present, please say here so we can have a record of the trustees who are present. Chelsea Henderson.
Present.
Aaron.
Present.
Mary Jane.
Present.
Peter.
Present.
John O'Brien is not joined us yet, and Patricia McPhee has not joined us yet. We understand Patricia already told us she'd be joining us late. She couldn't make this particular time start. And I'm Linda Borden. I'm president of the library board. So we have a quorum, so we can have our meeting. Do we have any other people present, Jennifer, community members?
No, there are no other people present.
Okay, I understand Anne-Maurice is joining us, an employee of the Easton Library, and Nellie, a member of the community. So we're happy to have you at the meeting. We can begin our meeting with our minutes from the previous annual meeting. And I would entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of those, since all of the trustees did receive copies via email from Aaron. Can I have a motion to dispense with the oral reading of those?
This is Mary Jane.
Make a motion, I'll second that.
Okay, so I hear a motion from Mary Jane, seconded by Peter, to dispense with the reading of the annual meeting minutes from the last meeting. Can I have a motion to accept them?
Chelsea makes a motion to accept the previous meeting minutes.
And
I
seconded
second
by
that.
Peter. And so we have
Just number two.
You're doing fine, Peter. So we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from the previous annual meeting. All in favor? Aye.
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 We have, moving on then to the treasurer's report. So this is our annual treasurer's report. So Peter Reed is our treasurer. So Peter has sent us the annual report. Peter, would you like to say anything about the annual report?
Sure. Gives me a chance here. Copies of the annual report are on the librarian's desk, the checkout counter. Anybody wants a copy. What happened is in 2020, total funds the library has increased. The normal contributions from Greenwich Central School and the town of Easton were about the same. Town of Easton was the same. Greenwich Central School District rose a little bit. Main contributions were down a little bit, but the main reason we've gone up and had more funds at the end of this year is because of the COVID. COVID reduced the time the library was open. It also has brought down the services we can provide. So Jennifer has been busy and our spending is down. basically is what's happened. And most of that is due to the COVID virus. But other than that, we're looking good. We got more money.
Okay, and everybody has received a written copy of that. So is there somebody who would make a motion to accept the treasurer's report, please?
This is Chelsea. I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Can I have a second?
This is Mary Jane. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to accept the treasurer's report, say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we have the treasurer's report approved. Let's move on to the nominating committee. Our nominating committee for trustee, we have Aaron, who has served his 7-year term, and we are going to be hearing from the nominating committee, who was Aaron and Chelsea. So can you report, one of you, what your findings were?
Yes, this is Chelsea. The nominating committee would like to nominate Nellie Lewandowski to serve as a trustee for a 7-year term. And a little bit about Nellie. So Nellie and her husband Eric and their 2 children, Max and Lucy, moved to Easton in 2016 to establish Slate River Farms. Nellie's family roots are in this region. Her great-grandparents owned a small grocery store at what is now Lynn's Cafe, and another small store in Schuylerville at what now is Amigos Cantina. Nellie was a mathematics teacher for almost 15 years, with 5 years at local public schools and 9 years at the Waldorf School of Saratoga. For the past few years, Nellie has been homeschooling their children, who are in 9th and 7th grades, and helps to run the animal side of the farm. Nellie would like to become more involved and rooted in the Easton community and is driven to help others access all of the wonderful resources through our local library.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Yes.
Are there any other nominations from the floor for a trustee? Hearing none, I'm going to ask the secretary to cast a ballot for Nellie. Aaron?
I will cast a ballot for Nellie to be to the board for a 7-year term.
Thank you.
If I've
So,
worded that correctly for you.
yay, welcome Nellie.
Thank
you. Good to have you aboard.
Thanks.
Yes, welcome, Nellie.
Looking forward to it.
So, is there any other business before we go into the director's report? Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. You're doing great, Linda.
Okay. on a
I
roll.
think I have one thing. I just want to recognize Aaron and thank him for all he did to contribute to the Board of Trustees. Your presence, Aaron, has been so thoughtful. I feel like there's been several times over the years where your perspective has really moved our conversations and our discussions to a deeper level. I appreciate how what you do in the community for your employment has enriched your views of what role the library can play in the community as well. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to say thank you very much, and we look forward to you being a friend of the library now and involved in programming and things for the future.
You're very welcome. It's been a good experience, and Jennifer has already given me my first assignment.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron, and we definitely will miss you greatly.
Yes.
So Jennifer, we have the director's report next for the year. So Jennifer, go ahead and tell us what's been happening.
Okay. This is the Library Director's Report to the Board of Trustees and the Easton community for the year ending December 31st, 2020. The year 2020 was a turbulent year for all libraries, and Easton Library was not immune. It seems so long ago, but it has only been 1 year since Easton Library entered a shutdown, and my staff and I learned how to cope with the coronavirus pandemic. Easton Library began 2020 with 11 weeks of normal occupancy in the building. Before closing the building for several months, various normally scheduled programs took place. Our preschool story hour was led by Carol Reeve and Joanne Booth. It had 9 sessions that met every Wednesday morning and totaled 175 people in attendance. Osteobusters had 10 sessions that met every Monday and Wednesday morning and totaled 48 people in attendance. Mahjong met every Wednesday afternoon for 10 weeks and totaled 56 players. The knitting group met for 6 weeks and totaled 14 participants. After much deliberation over changing a tradition, the Easton Library Association held its first annual potluck meeting on Thursday, March 5th. The meeting included reports of the year, election of 1 trustee, speakers, sales director Sarah Dallas, potluck, and sharing dreams for Easton Library and a wishing jar. This new idea to have a community potluck in combination with the annual meeting was met with much enthusiasm. We look forward to our second annual potluck and meeting. The summer reading program theme was Imagine Your Story. Board member Pat Ruppel applied for a Stewart's Match grant, and we received $600 to invite storyteller Diane Edgecombe. Diane Edgecombe was slated to travel from Boston to perform a single act at Easton Library, but it became clear due to the coronavirus pandemic that we were not going to be able to allow children and adults to attend a program in person by the month of July. Easton Library subsequently hired Ms. Edgecombe to do 3 virtual summer programs. Once Upon a Fairy Tale, Imagine Your Storyteller Workshop, and Folktale Superheroes brought 47 total virtual views to our Easton Library website. On the next page of my report, I have slides from the summer reading program virtually performed by storyteller Diane Edgecombe. My report will be found on our website this week. I will make sure it's up there, so you'll be able to view that. I can hold it up if anybody wants to see it. Should I do that?
See how thick it is? Oh, nice. Hold it still for a minute.
Okay,
Oh, looks good.
okay.
So it'll be on the website, right?
It'll
All
be
right.
on the website, yes.
Excellent.
Okay. On March 17th, our library had physically closed to the public for 16 weeks due to the coronavirus pandemic. The library staff continued to provide services to the public during this period that was closed, such as answering telephone calls, responding to emails, and maintaining the physical plant of the library. Easton Library added to the electronic materials and allowed patrons to complete registration for library cards online without having to come to the library in person. Our library provided Wi-Fi internet access to users outside the building and intentionally boosted the coverage during the pandemic. Many new policies were written during the pandemic, such as state of emergency closure and quarantine leave policy, temporary safety practices policy, the New York Forward Safety Plan, and a code of conduct. These documents were required by the New York State in order to reopen our doors on July 7th at a limited occupancy and service level. All of our procedures are on our website. Advertisements were sent out encouraging patrons to access Easton Library's newest purchase news bank. What a perfect time to view current and archived information from thousands of newspaper titles such as the Post-Star, Newswires, business journals, government documents, and other publications from the comfort of your home. This is available on Easton Library's website to all library card holders at America's News icon. To express how much the staff and I missed our patrons, we participated on social media with staff book picks. Warren Schultz, Christine Dominicini, Doris Callahan, and I each chose books we would recommend and reported on them. I was able to convince most of our board members to also participate in book picks for patrons. The use of social media during the 16 weeks of shutdown of the physical library was an excellent tool to keep Easton Library active and relevant. This year, the library completed purchases and installation of program presentation technology. This was made possible through a New York State legislative grant. Purchases included an overhead projector, amplification system, laptop, and wireless microphones. This equipment will upgrade patron services by enabling a wider variety of programs that require multimedia support. Our newly remodeled meeting room is now fully equipped with technology to support presenters who require modern audio and visual aids. Our patrons will enjoy the out-of-the-way overhead projector and versatile sound system. On the next page, I have slides of our technology purchased with the legislative grant. And I have pictures of the overhead projector, the DVD player on our new shelf, our laptop, our microphone, our down at the bottom, I have our speakers, and I have our pull down and our speakers. So that is also part of my report. For 25 weeks, our library remained at service level B. Our patrons missed the use of computers and using our historical and genealogical research material. Chelsea Henderson, owner of Rural Soul Studio, donated a ukulele kit to the library for patron loan. Each month, I struggle with the decision over staying at service level B or moving up to the next service level. Our 5-year plan of service was completed and board approved in August. Based on the data collected, there were 4 priorities identified: strengthening the social fabric, celebrating rural life, creating opportunities for youth, and provide 21st century technology. I look forward to the library opening full steam so that our priorities can be put to a challenge. Our goal of increasing the collection of children and young adult literature is being met. We are continually weeding out old and purchasing new titles for the collection. In August, there was an NYLA online Dungeons and Dragons at your library webinar. Matthew Bink, a teen patron, volunteered to participate in the webinar for the library in hopes of starting up a D&D group sponsored by the library. We had a change in staff. Amarise O. Lineup joined our team in October, and Warren Schultz said goodbye to become an author. The year 2020 did not go as planned. The coronavirus pandemic was the main reason for all the data numbers have decreased. From the number of patrons visiting the library to the total number of programs offered. The library was unable to hold in-person programming after March 17th. Our library interlibrary loan use and electronic book use was healthy, which means patrons were reading more than ever. Adaptations were made in many areas. Our board of trustees conducted 9 meetings, 6 of which took place via Zoom. My staff and I learned how to serve as patrons in the new normal, wearing face masks, social distancing, speaking behind plexiglass, following arrows on the carpet, sanitizing surfaces, quarantining items, and washing hands. I look forward to this year and hopes in the library will open fully and we may service our patrons to every extent. Respectfully submitted, Jennifer DiCarlo, Director, Easton Library. On the final 2 pages of my report, I have staff and board member book picks that occurred during the closure. So I did a collage so we can remember what everybody did. And the final page of the report are our infographics. And the infographics is available at the library for patrons if they're interested in looking at them. So that's it.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was a really,
Welcome.
really good report. Nice job. Well
Excellent.
done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job.
I
I'm
know the
really,
feeling.
I'm really sorry that we could not do this in person and have our community audience there because it was such a wonderfully done report. It was very interesting. And I'm so glad you detailed only some of the many, many things that you had to do. I think it's so hard for people to realize that even though we were closed physically or partially, how much work you were doing this year. Many, many more hours than usual. A lot of emotional toll for everyone involved. It was an extraordinary year, and I think you did an extraordinary job keeping the library running so efficiently, doing all that extra work on policies. It was a difficult year, and you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Really.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Anyone else have anything to say?
Well, just to let you know, we have about 5 minutes left. So
Oh, okay, I better roll on then. So how about, do we have any friends of the library report? We usually do. Did you hear anything from them, Jennifer?
Carol said that she didn't have a report this year.
Okay. Anyone else have any other business to add to this? All right, so if that's the case, I'm going to announce that we have our first organizational meeting following this meeting, and Jennifer has put that information out to log in once again to Zoom for the organizational meeting for the public and for trustees. So that will happen at what time, Jennifer?
7:30.
7:30, okay. So I keep looking at my watch because I'm an hour time difference, so I'm getting myself confused.
Oh, gee. Okay.
That's okay, that's okay, I can figure this out. So, all right, so we have about a half an hour and then we need to log on for the organizational meeting. Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn the annual meeting of trustees, please?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
And
I can second that.
And seconded by Patricia, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before we adjourn, I'd like the minutes to show that Patricia McPhee did join the meeting and so has been present for the meeting. So we can adjourn the meeting now, and Jennifer, you can stop the recording portion.
Okay. Gee.